break my wrist, so I went with that. Down, I tore my.
I got 1 o'clock.
No, that same night.
All set?
I was just in the hospital.
Okay, everyone, it's 1 o'clock. I'm going to call the March 19th Board of Commissioner meeting to order. Today, we're going to have the prayer by Commissioner Heberling and the pledge by myself.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to come and to meet as elected officials to do the business of our county. We just pray as we go through this meeting, you would ask that you guide and direct us. And Lord, we thank you for your blessings upon our country. And again, we ask that you would be with each and every one of us as we make the decisions for our community. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Leslie, roll call, please.
District 1 Chairman John Block,
Present.
District 2 Commissioner Roger Ballard,
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Gary Heberling,
Present.
District 4 Commissioner Bill Sarkella is absent, District 5 Commissioner Christine Lee, present, District 6 Commissioner Evans Ehart is absent, District 7 Commissioner John Moody.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
If there are no additions, corrections, or deletions to today's agenda, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Mr. Chairman, go ahead, Chris.
I'll make that motion.
I support it.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, supported by Commissioner Heberling to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve our meeting minutes from March 5th. I have a motion from Commissioner Moody, support from Commissioner Ballard. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You received your correspondence from Jody through email the other day. I don't know if any of you guys read through that, but we did get a letter from a leasing agency related to leasing for a DTE wind project. As contentious as those projects have seemed to be, I did email that lady and politely asked her to identify what area of the county they're intending to do this, so at least we have that information. I haven't received a response, but when I do, I'll notify the board. So that is all for correspondence. So we will move into commissioner reports, and we will start with Commissioner Moody. No report. I have nothing myself today. Christine?
Don't you guys work?
All the time.
On March 5th, I was attending Maple Valley Township and their new sign is up. They're looking at changing the street lights outside, how much it would cost to go to LED. Their budget spending is right on track. And then I went to the Brown City Fire Authority. They got a new truck. They saved $5,000 by picking it up. Body will be here in 28 to 20 weeks. And the, so I got to sit in the chassis part with but the back part is not here yet. Let's see, Flint Township on March 12th, I went to the Flint Township meeting. They had a budget hearing before their meeting. They approved the budget for 2024. They drafted a 1.5 mil road millage proposal. And they give their clerk increased responsibilities and the assessor. And then, let's see, I went to Brown City Council meeting on the 11th, and they're checking the manhole covers for leaks. They're trying to work with the school to solve their water problem. They combined 2 lots into 1. And then I went to, that'd be it.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. Gary?
Since our last BOC meeting, I attended Moortown Township meeting. Gave my monthly report, really nothing out of the ordinary from there. And last night I attended the Sandusky City Council, and wasn't a lot of things out of the ordinary last night. The city manager did give report update on the water mains they're putting in, and they're down east of town working on those. Eventually, The next move they make when they're finished with the east end, they're jumping to the west end. And hopefully, I think they give a kind of a temporary date when they be meeting in the middle, right after Four Corners. I think that was the end of June, first part of July. So, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Roger?
Last week I attended Argyle. They had quite a lengthy discussion on roads. They had a representative from the road commission there, actually the foreman from that area. And they discussed possibility of a recycling drop off, but took no action on that. I went to the Marlette Township meeting last week. A lot of discussion on roads. That seems to be a heavy topic at all my townships is roads. They have decided to do a chip and seal on Lynn Road from the east city limits, Marlette out to Butler Road. They were gonna continue on to Howard Road, but they don't have the funds for it, so they'll try and do that next year. And that's it.
Thank you, Roger. Appreciate everyone's commissioner reports. Nathan, your administrator report, please.
Yeah, thank you. First thing I wanted to let you guys know that we had Christy Bender, their finance director, and myself had a good meeting with the auditors last week. This year, the auditing process should go very smooth because everything's in place. They're a year in of working with us and with audits, as I think I've found, and in talking to them, they agreed that the more familiar they get with you, the easier the auditing process becomes. So last year was a little bit of a feeling out process and everything should run smooth this year. I had a meeting last Friday in regards to the opioid dollars that the county is receiving and is going to receive. As we know, that is a couple $1 million potentially the county will be receiving, but the repayment on that is lengthy. Some of the payments from the different litigants involved are up to 18 years. So we receive incremental amounts each year. Total, the county is set to receive about $2.3 million over the course of that 18 years. So just looking at ways to figure out the best use of those funds, and they are restricted to specific uses that hopefully provide support and things in regards to opioids. So it can't just be rolled into the general fund or anything like that.
Right.
So
We could provide services, drug-related services in the jail though, couldn't it?
the jail can be for education in schools, can be for, local hospitals, doctors' offices, educational, trainings, things like that. So, yeah, there's a variety of opportunities there, so.
Would that also involve the county health department and county mental health?
Yeah, actually, Brian Wilkie from our health department sat in on that call with me and Shauna Booms, who's there, representing the thumb opioid. They call it TORC, Thumb Opioid Response Consortium, so.
Was you involved in that? Well,
Not on the call, but I know about these numbers.
Nathan, did we identify a group to oversee that? Just,
Yeah, we had some initial meetings and then we didn't really identify an initial use. We said, let's wait a little bit until a little bit more money comes in, because it was such small amounts coming in that we really couldn't do a whole lot with it. So now I said, maybe we should circle back, and that's why I got a hold of Bryant. And the nice part is the health department already has some programs in place. And I think rather than reinvent the wheel, we look at maybe some things that could be done, through the health department. But we identified probably going through a process where similar to ARPA, where maybe projects are presented to a group. Once that group approves it, it would come before the board for approval.
sure.
So that way it's vetted a couple times.
Oh, good.
So, we do have, two projects that I've talked to you guys about, but to continue to be aware of, the state land bank dollars that are being, applied for by the, Economic Development Office. Hopefully to eliminate a couple blighted properties, one being, or two properties here in Sandusky, which they're trying to get demoed to help the businesses for some parking. And then there's one over in Lexington, which is adjacent to their village council building. So they want some potential expansion there, and they've got an old home that sits there that they want removed. So the EDC is working on, just kind of getting all the documentation submitted for that. And then we'll get approval, hopefully through the land bank.
Did they give any time frame in it?
No, everything has to be submitted, by the end of this month. And then the idea is that it's guaranteed dollars, if you will, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
She just had to have all the boxes checked on the project, so there's been a lot of documentation. She's been working hard for us on that, and I think everything's coming together. The other thing is, through the community development block grant, we had some dollars that were going to expire within the county, and I think we had previously talked about a improvement project for the city of Peck in one of their parks, and we are working through that. I'll be bringing before you guys probably at the next board meeting a request for a public hearing, because we'll have to go through those steps where there's a public hearing to specify what the dollars would be used for. So that'll be kind of coming up at the next meeting as well. They have a bunch of one of their parks has a bunch of playground equipment that is just not, their insurance provider said it's not safe anymore to be there. So they want to remove that and put something safe up for the kids to be able to play on. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is court funding. This has been a topic for the Michigan Association of Counties has been working on to try to resolve. There was a lawsuit that was filed by somebody, and court funding potentially, if there's not a resolution, could take a hit because of the ability for judges to assess costs to litigants. Somebody filed a lawsuit that said they didn't feel it was fair, the assessment of costs, because there's not a uniform assessment of costs across the board. If you're on probation in Sanilac County, if you're on probation in Tuscola County, if you're on probation in Wayne County, it can vary. And they're trying to resolve some of those issues. And as we know right now, the divide in Lansing is making things difficult. So things are a little bottlenecked down there with how to resolve this issue. There's a couple proposals on the table, but nobody wants to bend to vote for anybody else's bill package. So May 1st is a drop dead date. If there's no resolution to this on May 1st, at that point, judges would not be able to assess costs when somebody comes before them and goes on probation. And that is a fairly big hit. They say it makes up about a quarter of the trial court funding statewide, so.
Well, and it's appropriate that those that have gotten themselves in trouble fund, the services that are then required. It's just unreasonable that the taxpayer should subsidize the bad deeds of others. But we'll have to wait and see how that litigation lands.
That's all I have.
Any questions for Nathan? Good report, Nathan. Thank you.
Yep.
At this time, I'll call for public comments pertaining to the agenda. Are there any public comments pertaining to the agenda today? Seeing none, we'll move on. We have a presentation, the 2023 annual drain report. Doug Sweet, our drain commissioner. Doug, welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you guys too. I will keep it short. If anybody wants to go into it in more detail, stop up to the office. I can tell you're sitting on pins and needles, John. Afternoon. As always, we always put in a few pictures of what we do throughout the year, so you can kind of see what we do. And then it goes in right into our explanation of the 4 different accounts we use. Those don't change from year to year. They stay the same. A few stats about what we did last year. We had 2 petitions filed in our office. We had no board determinations, no drain lettings. We removed beaver dams on 10 drains. We performed maintenance on 87 drains last year. That's up from 46 previous year. And then we sprayed brush on 138 drains last year. We recorded easements on 1 intercounty drain. And then we did 3 projects where the state MDOT picked up the cost of the projects.
Why would the state pick up something like that, Doug? Is it because it's on an MDOT road?
It's on an MDOT road and they have a drains department, so they do their fair share to help out.
Okay.
It was work that was performed in the right of way or benefited their right of way, so They do that quite often.
Okay.
Our first tab is our 801 tab. We have 295 drains with cash in them. Those are drains that we've assessed out this year. That's up from, I think, 125 last year. If you go to the end of that tab, it's gonna give you a breakdown of all the townships with all the drains that were assessed with construction and maintenance assessments. When we do something like that, we get the money a little quicker than when it comes in at the end of the year. So you can see on page, I think it's 5 there, the county's portion of the construction and maintenance assessments was just over $9,500 for those ones. Our next tab is our 851 tab. Those are the drains that that were assessed out. There was 125 that were done this way. And if you flip to the back, and this has a breakdown of every single drain in alphabetical order. So I don't think you guys really want to go through every single drain in alphabetical order.
Not in here, we don't.
Okay.
Time's running out.
Yep.
We had a discussion before the meeting.
So of the 125 drains, again, it lists in alphabetical order, how many years they were assessed out for and the dollar amount. On page 3 in that tab, it shows that last year we assessed out just over $1.4 million. And then the next page again is going to give you a list of all the townships, all the drains that were assessed in that township and the dollar amount that was billed to the property owners, the township and the county. And then that last is going to give you the county at large portion. And the county at large portion for this was just over $241,000 of that 1.4 million, almost 1.5. Our next tab is our 802 tab. It has 62 drains that are in the red that we need to assess out this summer. The total for all the 62 drains is just over $153,000 that we need to assess out, plus all the ongoing work we're doing right now for next year, this year. And then our last tab is our 804 tab. It has a list of all the drains in alphabetical order and how much they paid the 804 account since it was started. And the 804 account is my maintenance guy's account. So I know I went through it pretty quick. Is there any questions or?
Doug, are you still going out to the municipalities and townships and discussing with them what kind of drain work you're looking to do in that year so that you can work in their budget?
So we set them an estimate, usually first part of February every year.
Okay.
That has the drains, how many years we're proposing it for, and the dollar amount. But some of those change because when we get on a project, people always request more. So
Right.
it's just kind of a snapshot of, at that point in time, what we have.
But it gives them a pretty general idea of
It
what
does.
to expect.
And we try and come in underneath the estimates. Sometimes it doesn't always happen, but we try to come in a little under.
That sounds like good business to me.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Anybody have any questions for Doug? Seeing none, we certainly appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
Must have done a great job.
Thank you.
No questions, right?
I don't hear anything negative out in the community either, so.
That's always a plus. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Doug.
If I could too, I just want to let the board know too that, you know, in working with Doug on projects, he does a great job of communicating to us potential expenses. He also does a really good job at trying to mitigate expenses and prioritizing projects so that year to year, it doesn't have, because there could be some potential very costly impacts on the budget.
Right.
And he's very good at, looking at costs and talking through and saying, well, you know, this needs to be done, but I can push this out for another year. So, valuable, the work he does is valuable and very important, and he works well with us. He wanted you guys to be aware.
Very good. Thank you, Nathan. That will conclude our presentations. So we're going to move into interviews. Our first one is actually one of our very own commissioners, Christine Lee. This is for the Region 7 area and on aging. I'm not going to ask Christine to step up to the podium. If anybody has any questions for her, you guys could pose them to her now.
I served on this board for 5 years. I replaced Donnie Hunt. That's who was doing it before myself. And the term is for 3 years.
Okay,
And there's 10 counties in Region 7, along with the city of Saginaw and the Chippewa Indian tribe from Central Michigan.
they're included in it as
They're
well.
included, well,
Good. Any questions for Christine? Seeing none? We'll move on. We have our Sand Lake Community Mental Health interviews, and it's Lynn Brown up first. Lynn, welcome. If you'd just step up to the podium, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Keep it short.
I'm Lynn Burton. I've been on the board for 14 years, learned a lot about actual expenses, and I go to just about all the board retreats. I have a lot of fun, and it's a very well managed board.
Very good. We appreciate you being here today, and thank you for your service to the community.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Is Robert Copper?
Speak for Bob if I could.
Sure.
Yeah, Bob apologizes for his inability to come today. There was an emergency meeting with Region 10, which is our PHP, where we get our funding, and I told him honestly, I needed him to advocate for our county more than I needed him to come for his interview. He is the Sanilac County Board Chair, been the board chair now for, I think, 2 years. He's been part of the Region 10 board since its inception, which is, I think, about 12 years now. And he's been on the Sanilac County Board more than 15 years. He brings a wealth of knowledge. He was a previous probation officer here in the county, and he's a very good board chair and a very good advocate for our community.
Very good. Thank you. Well, we appreciate you being able to speak. Next up is Nanette Susala. Welcome.
Hi. I'm Nanette Susella. I have been in Sand Lake County for 17 years, and I grew up in Macomb County. My parents are from Sand Lake County, and I have been with CMH for 17 years and been on the board for 10 as of October. And I have learned so much on so many different avenues. I mean, as far as administration to services that are rendered, and participate in as many meetings and events, and of course, the conferences that we go to and bring in new information. And I'd like to be considered for reappointment again.
Yes, very good. We appreciate you being here today. Thank you for your service. Last one is Linda Willis. Linda, welcome.
Thank you. Well, you heard, I'm Linda Willis, and I've been on the board 20 years.
Oh, thank you.
And they need an old lady to take care of the young ones. And I hope I get on again.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here today, and thank you for your service to the community.
Linda, I'm disappointed. Linda,
Linda.
I'm disappointed. I thought you'd say, I'm Linda Willis, and I say we go with it. These three here,
Okay.
I swear, I think they go to every conference and any meeting there is, and I don't think it's for the good food. I think it's because they truly enjoy it.
Good.
And being a part of it.
Good.
And they're definitely a great addition.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of you for being here today again.
Thank you.
That will conclude interviews. So we're going to move directly into appointments for the Region 7 Area on Aging. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Christine Lee for a 3-year term expiring 3/31/2027.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlin, support from Commissioner Moody. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Congratulations, Christine.
Thank you.
And next up, we have the Sand Lake County Community Mental Health Board. I have Lynn Brown, Robert Coppiskate, Nanette Susala, and Linda Willis all here for a 3-year term expiring 3/31/2027. I'll entertain a motion to appoint.
So moved.
I'll support it.
I have a motion from Commissioner Ballard, supported by Commissioner Lee, to appoint all 4. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You are all appointed to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That will conclude our appointments to committees. There is no need for 13B or county commission appointments. There are no general resolutions, so we're going to move directly into committee reports, and we're going to start with Commissioner Ballard.
Oh, would I have parks? No, I didn't have parks. Hang on a second, I bought my notes today. At CMH Program Committee last Tuesday, basically, we just heard and approved reports that was presented. And this Friday, we have a 1/2 day retreat in Deckerville. Round one, it's a coffee shop up there.
New grounds.
Grounds one.
What's it called?
New grounds.
New ground?
New grounds.
Okay, which I plan on attending. It's not my calendar.
You'll enjoy the food if you get some.
So it's a 1/2 day retreat. At Michigan Works last Friday down in Lapeer. We hear a whole lot of reports and presentations. So, John was there as well. Parks, give you a little update. The maintenance building in Lexington is complete. It got its final, inspection approval. So that project's done. We received a grant reimbursement for the Forester Playground, grant from the MDNR. It was $80,200. And the Evergreen Sewer Project is nearing completion. So it's nice to see these projects because they've been in the works for some of them 3 to 4 years. And it's good to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
For those. And hopefully before too long, we'll be working on the house over in Lexington and get that thing going. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Roger. Gary?
Roger covered Parks, Recreation, and we have a meeting tonight for the county. Lost my train of thought.
Planning Commission.
Planning Commission, there we go. End of my report.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Christine?
I attended the Shop with a Hero fundraiser this past Saturday and it was very good. It was they really picked on the drain commissioner. Wanted to know what he did and they really roasted him up good. And they raised about $2,100. It takes about $9,000 to run that program, the Shop with the cop and the firemen and all that. The sheriff had a to the rescue, 142 people took part in it. That was last night. It was for the first responders, police and firemen, and it was just the mental aspect of the stuff that they see all the time. Yesterday, I went to the Council of Aging. They approved their millage renewal so that they can get it on the ballot. Then this morning, I was at the Child Abuse Prevention Council. The baby pantry, they had their second night one. And it was very well attended and they've been having people that come in and set up tables like the health department and the substance abuse use prevention and the thumb area works so they can give out information and that seemed to go over well. They set their youth empowerment camp for August 22nd. And then I had the health department. And they're working on the kindergarten oral health assessment. And they contacted all the local dentists to see, because that's who they're gonna be referring the kids to. And they all said that they would help out. They had 2 new programs that were approved by the state, trauma and courage to change. COVID cases are coming down, flu cases are going up, so make sure you wash your hands. There was a measles case that was in the state and the Thumb Festival asked if they could use the Maple Valley building because of all the road construction. You can't close this street and that. And they're gonna do like the arts and crafts part out at Maple Valley School. And they're gonna probably do some other activities that go along with the Thumb Festival. And the sheriff's been using the building quite a bit for different trainings and stuff. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Christine. I sat in on a buildings and grounds meeting this morning. Commissioner Sarkella wasn't here. We're continuing to get more information on the animal control building and try to move that issue forward. More to come on that soon. We also looked at some steel options for the health department building, trying to get an idea of what kind of steel to potentially put over top of what's there now for that repair. And then I have a planning commission meeting tonight with Commissioner Heberling. That's all I have. John?
I had Michigan Works and Roger.
You listen to presentations and reports?
There's not a whole, yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Okay,
I did bring back, I got a pretty good stack. John and I kind of pilfered the tables after everybody left. And they have a booklet that goes out, I think quarterly, called Talent Talks. And it's all success stories of people that they've gotten training or, boosted their employment up. And
okay.
some really nice success stories. There's, I think, three or four from Sanilac County this month. So I scattered them around the building here. So people like at adult probation or up on the second floor can look through them and kind of get the word out. They're more than just an unemployment agency.
Yeah, I keep getting that. The more you
Yeah.
tell me about it, the more information I get. So it's interesting.
They're paying for a lot of people going through police academies right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
a lot.
needed service, right? And
Mhm.
I left a couple down in the lobby at mental health too. So.
good. Anything further from anyone for committee reports? Okay, you're not appreciate everyone's report. We'll move on. I see no need for unfinished business, so we're going to move into new business. And with the absence of Finance Chairman Sarkella, I think how maybe we'll do it today is any particular commissioner that chooses to can make the motion and we'll move on from there. So we're going to start out with FA 050-24, approval of 2024 current claims.
The Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims for 2024, identified the accounts payable report dated March 19th, 2024 for the general bank account in the amount of $106,144.14.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlein, supported by Commissioner Ballard. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 051-24, budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
The Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments and transfers and establish the following accounts, and then they're listed below.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlein, supported by Commissioner Lee. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 052-24, approval of additional general fund bank account checks charged to February 2024.
The Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of additional general fund bank account checks charged to February 2024 as follows. And you look down below, ACH payments, $471,381.63. Checks, $398,508.36. A total of $869,889.99.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlein. Is there support?
Support.
Support from Commissioner Lee. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 053-24, award and authorize a bid for Forester Park office store project.
The Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes Thompson Builders the low bid of $58,000 with 15% contingency for the total cost not to exceed $66,700 for the purpose of replacing sliding windows and deck for the Forester Park office and store with funding from the park millage for immediate approval.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlein, supported by Commissioner Ballard. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Now moving on to NFA 005-24, acceptance of the 2023 annual drain report.
The Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby accepts the 2023 annual drain report as presented.
Support.
I have a motion from Commissioner Heberlein, supported from Commissioner Lee. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. At this time, I'll call for, that will complete new business. At this time, I will call for general public comments. Are there any general public comments?
Will Morris again from Sanilac CMH. I just wanted to thank the commissioners for their support and reappointing my 4 board members. And just to give you a quick update, in October, we became a CCBHC demonstration site. We are the most rural CCBHC site in the state of Michigan. And since October through January, we've seen a 15% increase in the number of individuals that we serve or citizens in our community. So that's, I think it was like 130 some folks who could come to our building versus having to seek treatment outside of the county, because, to be honest, there are no other psychiatric providers in Salem County other than CMH. And by the end of the first year, I expect that number to triple. So you could see, anywhere from 300 to 400 to 500 additional citizens able to receive services in their local community versus having to travel. So that's a good thing for everyone.
Yeah. Will, you feel that those citizens that are Sanilac County, that's an increase in the residents that reside in Sanilac County that are receiving services?
CCBHC does not, we are expected to serve anyone who comes to our building. And there have been a few, like 2, 3 from St. Clair to Scola, Huron, that have driven here because, with the stigma with behavioral health, a lot of people don't want to receive services in their same community. But out of that 120, 110 are Sanilac County residents.
Okay.
Including a pretty sizable number of children.
Okay. Thank you, Will. Any other general public comments today?
Gail Euster and a member of Right to Life, and I just wanted to remind everybody that this Thursday night at Countryside Church is the Right to Life banquet. And if you haven't already purchased a ticket, you can still go, just show up.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other general public comments? Okay, seeing none. I see no need for a closed session or approval of closed session minutes. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our BOC meeting at 1:36.
I'll make that motion.
Support. I have a motion from Commissioner Lee, supported by Commissioner Moody. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.